Orthopedic. Backed Over, what you need to know to protect your child. Tomorrow at 10.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. Is this church
I consider it a cult.
No one is forced to stay here.
destroying this man's family?
Did God tell you to take your wedding ring off?
Yes, I believe he did.
What did I do wrong to warrant God telling her to throw her husband away?
You've just decided to go have children with someone else. Is it possible you're just having an affair?
I believe that my wife is under some severe mind control.
You feel duped because your marriage failed.
You're the puppet master, Doug.
He's my puppet master? You're seriously going to sit there watching me on stage thinking he's my puppet master?
You need to take responsibility for the people's lives that you have harmed.
I don't owe you anything. You're the enemy. You understand?
Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, three, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Well, today we are talking about a custody battle with a twist. A husband claims that his wife has been keeping his children in a religious group that he feels is dangerous. In fact, he thinks that it is very cult-like. Take a look.
A Houston man moved his family to a new state to start a whole new life serving God.
But he says they ended up inside a cult which cost him everything.
According to their website, they operate like a co-op, with about 70 members sharing apartments. But after a few months, Todd says his wife started hearing voices telling her to leave him to be with another man, which she eventually did.
I want to be a martyr for my Lord and my Savior.
I consider it a cult.
Todd is fighting for his marriage and custody of his kids. At the same time, he worries the fellowship may be growing more dangerous.
Well, the husband and wife are both here today and will face off for the first time in months. We're going to get to them in a bit. But first, who is Doug Perry and what is the Fellowship of the Martyrs? Now, is this a cult? I certainly don't know. I want to learn some things about it today, and I go at it with a completely open mind, and I hope you do too. Take a look at some of his cyber sermons.
I'm committed to doing everything that I can until somebody kills me or Jesus takes me home to utterly, completely destroy institutional church as we've seen it. Maybe you would agree with me that something needs to be done. Something big, something dramatic, something that's going to hurt real bad, and something that's probably going to cost a lot of people their lives to get it done.
And I want his temple to be pure, and I want his will to be done. And I believe him. He said we're done with the beard now. It's time to get serious. It's time to move on. It's time to get about our Father's business.
While Doug Perry obviously has supporters, he also has many critics who have accused FOTM, as it is called, of being a cult. Now, is Doug a cyber preacher with a new religious point of view or movement, or some smooth-talking manipulator? Here's what he has to say.
It was about 8 years ago that I had the vision from the Lord about how things needed to change, and that's when everything started to shift in my life.
Hey guys, this is Doug with fellowshipofthemartyrs.com.
Fellowshipofthemartyrs.com. And so I started Fellowship of the Martyrs. I don't really have a title. I don't like titles.
I just want to be the most dangerous person to Satan on the planet.
I used to be respected by bankers and lawyers and pastors, and now my best friends are toothless, scary-looking homeless people. We've got ex-meth heads, ex-prostitutes. We've at times had registered sex offenders. We had one guy set himself on fire in the parking lot. We are not an organization. We are not a denomination. We are a statement about that the church needs to step up. Right now, we have posted on our channel about 900 videos. We're somewhere between 2.5 million and 3 million views on those post videos. The internet accounts for about 50% roughly of the money that comes into the ministry.
Spiritual warfare is real.
Tear it out. I'm one of many people that see demons. It's not a superpower. Demons are real. They might look sometimes like snakes or ticks or octopus.
I've been called the Antichrist.
God gave me the gift of tongues, as a lot of other people. And no, I'm not going to demonstrate on cue like it's a magic trick. It's the Holy Spirit speaking through you.
He says they ended up inside a cult.
I consider it a cult.
Dangerous cult.
Boy, I could live happily the rest of my life if I never heard the word cult again. Cult is such a useless word. People seem to decide that if they call you a cult leader, then they can dehumanize you and marginalize you. No one's being controlled. No one is forced to stay here.
Well, Doug took us on a tour of the Fellowship of the Martyrs grounds, where he says he hears God and also exorcises demons.
We're headed over to one of the townhouses to show you guys inside. This is the living room of one of our houses. Nothing much to it. We try to make it livable. This is the basement of one of the houses. Sometimes we have a mom and dad and a kid in one of the basements like this. We have a food pantry. We give away about 1 million pounds of food a year. We feed about 3,000 to 4,000 people a month. This is one of our crews coming back from our food run. We call it every morning. They go out and access the restaurants and grocery stores that would otherwise be in the trash. Nobody draws a salary. We just pour ourselves out and do the best we can to help in the community.
You say this all started when you had a vision.
That's correct.
You said that there was a trophy wall in the showroom, and you said one day I'm in there and the Lord says, come in here and look at this. What do you think of this? And you said, well, you know, I think it's pretty cool. And he says, quote, I think it's all crap. Take it and throw it in the dumpster. This is a shrine to what you built in your power.
This is when I had my furniture store, and I had pictures of me and articles on the wall.
God said, I think it's all crap?
It was idolatry. It was a shrine to me.
But he used the word crap to you.
He pretty well talks the way we talk.
I mean, I would have thought he would at least said crappeth or something. Here's something Doug said about seeing people being instantly healed. Take a look at this.
I have seen people instantly healed, instantly freed from schizophrenia, from anorexia, from addictions to all kinds of drugs. Instantly stop smoking.
People were getting instantly delivered of addictions and depression and agoraphobia and even schizophrenia. I saw chronic pain leave people instantly. I've seen people healed of autism and lupus and Alzheimer's and fibromyalgia and others. I've seen people's leukemia go into remission. I've seen epilepsy go away permanently. I've seen bones healed instantly.
The implication for all of these people and good families that are suffering from autism and lupus and schizophrenia and Alzheimer's and fibromyalgia and all of these things that you're talking about is suggest that if they're still suffering from this, then they don't really believe. And that to me is offensive to the sensibilities of those people that have these legitimate disorders, to just say if you would just believe, you could be healed from these things.
I've never said that. I'm not talking to you from a superstitious, religious, snake handling, whatever kind of a background, okay? I've got the academic background to understand psychologically versus spiritually, and spiritually works.
Now here's something that Doug said about the tragic school shooting in Newtown, Connecticut.
I have been praying specifically for Newtown, Connecticut for about 4 years. I knew that God wanted to do something there, that nothing happens by accident and nothing just sneaks across his desk without, you know, him purposing it.
You said you've got 900 sermons on the internet, and in those 900 sermons, we couldn't find any mention of Newtown, Connecticut.
Okay.
Until 2 days after that shooting.
Okay.
Then 2 days after that shooting, you say, I've been praying about this for 4 years. But you didn't mention it in those 900 sermons.
And I didn't present it as some proof that I hear God either.
What is a rib?
A rib is a word that we use to talk about somebody that is spouse, bone of bone, flesh of flesh, marital wife, husband.
The reason I ask about that is because I have a letter here from one of the people that was a member of the church that now is not.
We don't have members.
Well, whatever, a follower, what would you call them?
I don't know. They came to hang out with us.
Okay, one of the people that came and hung out with you that says what me and my family experienced at FOTM, parentheses, deception, false teaching, and rampant sexual immorality. And what goes on behind the scenes is not shown in Doug's videos, was the most dangerous thing we have gone through. He said when we left FOTM and warned others through his videos, testifying about what we saw, heard, and experienced, we had threats of violence from FOTM members. Ex-members told them that they themselves were directed by Doug to pray for the violent death of me and my family.
Total, flat-up lies. Flat-up lies.
You had an expert that reviewed whether or not what you were doing rose to the level of being a cult.
Sort of.
And they opined that it was not a cult.
Right.
Actually, and you've cited that letter. You've referenced that letter, and they said that they didn't think it was a cult. This person said in researching FOTM, yes, I said he could use the letter, but it was written simply to say I did not find mind control or cult activity at that time. It was not a blanket approval of FOTM's teachings and practices. I am responding now in this public venue because of how my letter was misused in public. So in conclusion, repent your sins and get right with God. This is a letter to you.
This was a theological discussion after the fact where, and there's nothing in the letter that says I've changed my mind about cultish behavior or mind control or anything else. There was just a disagreement about a theological point, which happens across, you know, all 41,000 denominations we have in this country now.
All right, we have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to meet a father who used to follow Doug's teachings and is now calling him a cult leader as he fights to rescue the children that he left behind. We'll be right back.
After moving to the Fellowship of the Martyrs, our marriage began to decline. The biggest thing that shocked me was when Jennifer told me that last night God said to take my wedding ring off. Because of Doug Perry, my family and my life has been turned upside down and destroyed.
And later,
I really question what's going on at FOTM. You're not taking responsibility. And this young woman, Jennifer, seems to be here, and you're the puppet master, Doug.
He's my puppet master?
Jennifer, is Doug ever wrong?
I've been wrong tons of times.
Name three.
I don't owe you anything.
Name three,
You're
Doug.
the enemy.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. He's 23 and already a father.
Chase is a deadbeat dad.
He gets arrested, you pay the court costs, you handle his probation, he does nothing, right?
Yes.
Is it time for this dad
I only play video games maybe 4 hours a night.
to grow up?
Get on a bus and go look for a job.
I've never ridden a bus. I don't know how to do it.
You're saying you need somebody to show you how to ride a bus?
That's tomorrow.
I am. I'm a hardworking American.
From St. James, Missouri. And I build the best vacuums in the world.
Simplicity Vacuums by Marback Appliance.
Powerful uprights, guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
For up to 6 years.
Canisters with allergy-fighting HEPA filtration.
And America's best cleaning 8-pound upright.
33% better than you know who.
Trade in your old vacuum and save up to $100 at Marback Appliance.
Wow, this is tough. And I've actually gained weight.
Slim for Life has helped thousands of people lose weight. No starvation, no exercise, just amazing results. Holly lost 40 pounds. Ashley lost 60 pounds. Cindy and David lost 80 pounds. Lose up to 10 pounds the first week.
Lose up to 30 pounds in 4 weeks, just $1.99, and includes product. Call 816-730-SLIM.
Next ET, Hollywood's new skinny stars. Pencil-thin arms, bird legs, bones protruding. Then the Anna Nicole Smith movie, Stripping with breast implants. Next ET.
Tonight at 6:30 on KMBC.
Need a lawyer? Here's why you should call Brown & Crouppen.
First, we have a staff of nearly 100, and we've been here for over 30 years. We have 3 super lawyers, and we're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. We've won thousands of cases for injured people, and in 2011, the editors of Missouri Lawyers Weekly named us Missouri's winningest plaintiffs law firm. We're Brown and Crouppen. Call us anytime for free at 777-7777.
If you have depression, visit depressionstudies.com. There, you can learn about a clinical research study evaluating an investigational medication combined with an approved antidepressant. If you are aged 18 to 65, currently on treatment and still experiencing depression, or yet to receive treatment for depression, visit depressionstudies.com to learn more.
The top brand furniture you want is at Furniture Deals. Find incredible deals throughout the store. Plus, with our no-interest financing and 3 convenient locations, paying is painless and shopping is easy. Only at Furniture Deals, where our name says it all.
We're not going to fix the church with happy and fluffy. We're not going to fix the church with singing and dancing. Repent. Whatever it is, rip it out, pluck it out, tear it out, be done with it. However much it hurts, reach in and grab it, tear it out. We're running out of time.
That was Doug Perry, a controversial cyber preacher who founded the ministry Fellowship of the Martyrs, or FOTM. He claims no one is being controlled or forced to stay at his headquarters in Missouri. But my next guest says that is not true and regrets the day he ever met Doug.
I found Doug Perry through the internet, watching his videos.
Fellowship of the Martyrs, the church, should be those who mean it all the way.
Doug wrongly taught that bad things were on the horizon, that the end times are now. Judgment's coming, and the safest place for you to be is in Liberty, Missouri. In June of 2011, I quit my job and we moved to Liberty, Missouri. Anything that we couldn't bring, we either sold or gave away. After moving to the Fellowship of the Martyrs, our marriage began to decline. Jennifer really latched on to Doug Perry. From the beginning, Doug saw how Jennifer really cared for me and loved me, and Doug told her, don't make your husband an idol. Jennifer was very upset that I was not listening to every word that Doug says. She was upset because I wasn't turning Doug into an idol for myself. Sexual promiscuity was a very big issue at Fellowship of the Martyrs. It is strongly advocated that you can hear a voice and it tells you that you're married to someone and then you're not married to them. You kind of bounce around from marriage to marriage. The biggest thing that shocked me was when Jennifer told me that last night God said to take my wedding ring off. So now God was telling her to do things that normally she wouldn't have done. This was totally out of left field. I was in shock, and I told her that this is not what God tells people. Jennifer said, I cannot sleep in the same bed with you because that bed is for you and your new wife. After that, I slept on the floor next to her on the couch to say, look, I'm not going anywhere. I still want this to work out. I do not believe that God said we were divorced. Doug had really ingrained in us that your own family will turn against you and kill you, thinking they are doing God a favor. I decided I needed to get out of there because it wasn't safe. It's total insanity. Everything was falling apart, and I was very concerned for my safety and my children's safety. I made a plan to leave in the middle of the night, to leave with my children, because I was in fear. I asked Jennifer to come with me several times, and she said if I leave the camp, I will die. I carried the children out into the van and left at 3 o'clock in the morning. Jennifer was not happy, obviously. She then started accusing me of kidnapping the children, trying to manipulate her and force her to come home. I was arrested for 4 counts of felony kidnapping. Jennifer filed for divorce while I was in jail. Because of Doug Perry, my family and my life has been turned upside down and destroyed. I still want to reconcile with my wife. I believe that my wife is under some severe mind control and she's under an influence of a cult.
I want to be a martyr for my Lord and my Savior.
My biggest fear right now is I don't get to see my kids again.
You had all 3 of the girls there?
Yes.
How old?
At the time, they were 3, 4, and 6 or 7.
3, 4, and 6.
They were, yeah.
Okay, all right. And what came up about the girls having demons?
Well, the youngest girl, was having fits of rage where she would get upset. There was one instance where she woke up from a nap and was screaming, red-faced, crying, would not stop. And then they said, well she has a demon.
Who's they?
Members of the group.
Somebody there decided that she was demon-possessed?
She had a spirit of murder on her. And I believe Doug at one point agreed with that or said that she had a spirit of murder.
And then another daughter had a spirit of seduction?
Yes. She was
a demon of seduction?
Yeah, Doug actually labeled it as a spirit of seduction because Jennifer had a spirit of seduction that it needed to be taken out of her first.
Did you do an exorcism?
Well, no, I didn't.
To somebody?
Well, I found out later on the child was screaming and appeared to look like she was in pain while they were casting demons out of her.
And she was how old?
At the time, she was 3.
3.
You're just leaving so much stuff out. That you came there, that you believed you heard God, that you believe demons are real, that you were totally on board at every step of the way, that you wore a prayer shawl everywhere, including to work because God told you to, that you haven't worn since because it'd make you look crazy. You're just leaving out tons and tons of stuff. And you were in my office and you were talking about a divorce.
No, sir. You are incorrect.
All right, next, James' estranged wife is here. We're going to hear what she has to say. We'll be right back.
Anyone who says this is a cult, this is the worst cult I've ever seen. I believe that Doug is a prophet. I felt very firmly in my heart that the Lord had said that my marriage with James was done. And James decided that that wasn't God, that I had heard that it was a demon.
And later, is this a sinful relationship she's in?
She's going to have to answer to God for that.
Is it possible you're just having an affair?
Zagat named Minsky's one of the ultimate pizzas in America. What about Minsky's pastas?
How's your lunch?
Fresh and quite lovely, if I must say. Aren't you a cheeky monkey?
Pastas, salads, Minsky's.
Save extra big on gas when you shop with your Hy-Vee Fuel Saver card this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Get a 25-cent Fuel Saver discount for every $100 worth of groceries you buy. That's 25 cents off per gallon of gas. So fill your cart, then fuel your car. And earn 25 cents off per gallon this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for every $100 worth of groceries you buy. Hy-Vee Fuel Saver. Those who get it, save.
Do you have unexpected bills? Need cash now? Let Title Max turn your car title into cash. With Title Max, get $1,000, $3,000, $6,000, even $10,000. Title Max gets you the most cash, the lowest rates, with instant approval. Your car title is your credit, and Title Max gets you the cash you need in 30 minutes or less. So if you need help paying your bills, bring your car title to Title Max, and you too will say, I got my title back with Title Max.
Smell that?
You mean my tasty burgers?
No, the mouth-watering Memorial Day sale at Shawnee Mishikia.
That does sound tasty.
It's no time to be on a diet. Come hungry this Memorial Day at Shawnee Mishikia. Enjoy a new Sorrento for only $2.29. If you bring home $2.50 a week, your credit's approved guaranteed.
Wow, those savings were tasty.
You think what I'm thinking? Seconds.
Zagat named Minsky's one of the ultimate pizzas in America. We're asking Minsky's real customers for their opinion.
How's the food?
Well, it's healthy and it's the cheese! It's the sauce! It's the taste!
Cheesy, saucy Minsky's.
I had grave concerns for my children living at Fodom. My youngest daughter would have fits of rage where she would scream and yell and cry. One of my other daughters was exhibiting some very unusual behavior of climbing on people, touching them and stroking them very inappropriately. She had said things like, I'm going to take you downstairs and have my way with you. And that very deeply concerned me. My children had been labeled as having demons on them, and they actually did try to pray demons out of her. I was told that she was screaming and yelling in pain while they were doing this.
Well, James says he's concerned for his children's safety after he claims Doug Perry, founder of the ministry Fellowship of the Martyrs, cast demons out of his young daughter. But his estranged wife, Jennifer, who is currently fighting him in custody court, has this to say about their contentious battle.
It was in January 2011, we came to Fellowship of the Martyrs. I really liked the sense of community and constant fellowship.
Have no fear of me.
Anyone who says this is a cult, this is the worst cult I've ever seen.
I know that the solution to every problem is get more Jesus.
Doug doesn't tell us what to do. He tells us to hit our knees and ask God. He's not controlling at all.
Let's pray, okay?
I believe that Doug is a prophet. A prophet is someone who speaks the words of the Lord. I knew that my marriage was in trouble for quite some time. One night in January of 2012, I was praying and I felt very firmly in my heart that the Lord had said that my marriage with James was done and to take off my ring. When I told James that I had heard the Lord say that our marriage was over, he cried. After a few minutes, he went from being tearful and repentant to being more resolute and hard. And no, God would never say that. God would never do that. You were still my wife. And he decided that that wasn't God that I had heard, that it was a demon, and that God would never do that.
We thank you, Lord, for this vessel.
That Sunday night, we had fellowship, and James did not go. When I got home from fellowship, the girls were already in bed. I didn't know what James was up to, but I felt like he was up to something. He locked the door, and he then turned around and started walking towards me, yelling and screaming, speaking mostly in tongues. But when he did speak in English, it was things like, "You are my wife, you will submit to me." At times, he kind of lunged towards me. That night, I was scared. The next morning, I woke up and the kids were gone. I believe that James took the kids for ransom to try to get me to do what he wanted me to do, believing that if he had them, I would obey him. I personally believe that James kidnapped the kids. James filed a restraining order against me, saying that I was in a cult and that the children were in danger if they were around me. I still love James very much as my brother in Christ. I am now with someone else, and we have a 3-week-old baby together. I have no desire to resume a romantic relationship with James.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. And now, first off, let me ask you, you're still affiliated with or participate in the Fellowship of the Martyrs, correct?
Yes.
Is it a cult?
No, it is not a cult.
And you're free to come and go anytime you choose?
I am absolutely free to come and go as I choose. I don't have to report or check in with anybody.
Okay.
We just...
Do you think you've ever been brainwashed, mind controlled, in any way manipulated in your thinking or your behavior in any way whatsoever?
No.
So if you want to not go back there today, that's okay?
I could pack my bags and go.
You wouldn't be fearful for your safety or your life or your children in any way whatsoever?
No, in no way whatsoever.
And you're not saying that just because he's sitting right here?
No.
Did you have problems in your marriage before you went to visit in Liberty?
Yes.
And y'all are still married?
Yes, we are still legally married.
Okay, but now you consider yourself to be married to someone else?
Yes.
Is this a sinful relationship she's in?
She's going to have to answer to God for that. I'm not. It's not my job to enforce the 10 Commandments.
It sounds to me like you're more upset because you feel duped because your marriage failed.
Well, I was duped
So you're
all
looking
around.
to blame him, you're looking to blame me, you're looking to blame the ministry and not accept responsibility for anything that you did and you participated in. When I asked you just to apologize to me, why can't you apologize to me for taking the children from me for 2 months? You told me that you couldn't do it. So you can't accept responsibility for what you did, but you're able to point the finger and say it's because of him, it's because of her, it's
You weren't really
because of that.
interested in speaking with the kids for like 3 or 4, like a month during some of that time.
Do you know why I didn't want to speak to them? Because I didn't want to see them cry for me. Because I didn't want to have to answer their questions about, Mom, why aren't you here? Because I thought it would be easier for them if they just got to be on a little vacation with Daddy.
Later,
we're talking about children who are living in the equivalent of a homeless shelter.
Sir, I'm really not impressed by your silver tongue and your little hotshot credentials. I know that you're there to intimidate me.
Closed captioning provided by...
When the spark ignites, go ahead. Be spontaneous because you use Replens long-lasting feminine moisturizer. Be ready for romance anytime. Replens.
Moderna helped my scar look better in just weeks. Now, my personality does the talking. Moderna, no doubts, just you.
Get vet-grade flea and tick protection with VetGuard Plus. It kills, prevents, and repels for a fraction of the cost of canine Advantix.
At Walmart and Sam's Club.
family together. It'll be worth the wait. Great Wolf Lodge. Everybody in. Visit greatwolf.com for details on how you can save up to 10% on your summer getaway.
If you have depression, visit depressionstudies.com. There, you can learn about a clinical research study evaluating an investigational medication combined with an approved antidepressant. If you're aged 18 to 65, currently on treatment and still experiencing depression, or yet to receive treatment for depression, visit depressionstudies.com to learn more. CTT Research in Prairie Village is currently conducting this study.
Discover Table Rock Lake. Set in the gorgeous Ozark Mountains, Table Rock Lake is one of the most pristine lakes in the country. With thousands of acres of beautiful water, Table Rock is a perfect lake escape for fishing, swimming, skiing, and so much more. And just over the hillside, there's all the excitement and entertainment Silver Dollar City and Branson have to offer. Come, stay, and play. Great memories are waiting for you at Table Rock Lake. Visit mytablerocklake.com and see why our lake is your lake.
Did God tell you to take your wedding ring off?
Yes, I believe he did. I had been seeking the Lord for quite a while in our marriage, and I felt that night when I was praying, the Lord say that it was done. And I didn't obey right away because I was kind of in shock.
Is it possible you're just having an affair?
I think it's a fair question, and I can absolutely understand why someone would ask me that. And I think from the outside, from a secular point of view, or even most mainstream Christians would look at it that way, and I understand that.
And then you've just decided to go have children with someone else. And now you have a baby, right?
Yes.
So you have a husband that the state recognizes, and now you have a rib, and now you have a baby with the rib, so you got, what, a baby back, baby back, baby back. But if that doesn't work, then you have nothing from that.
I'm trying to live my life relying on the Lord, so I'm not really looking forward to, like, oh no, if this goes wrong, what's going to happen to me financially or whatever. Like, I'm relying on the Lord today and seeking to obey
I get that, but I'm one of those people that believes pray to God but row for the shore. You know, you got to take care of yourself too.
I would like to say something because I have asked her afterwards, what did I do wrong to warrant God telling her to throw her husband away? And she couldn't give me an answer, and the only answer she gave me was, you need to pray and ask God and let God tell you. So to this day, I don't even know what I did wrong as a husband.
I also another time said I would love to sit down and have a private conversation with you, that I didn't think it was appropriate to discuss it in front of the kids, that I didn't think you tried to have the discussion with me in front of the kids.
There was not a discussion in front of the kids.
Well, you certainly shouldn't do that in front of the kids, and if she is offering you to have a private conversation about that, I certainly think that would be a constructive thing to do. The two of you need to sit down with someone not affiliated with this ministry, that is consistent with your values, put all of this on the table, and discuss it.
I would love to do something like that. I've been begging him for face-to-face, let's sit down and talk like reasonable adults.
I'm willing to do that.
Matt O'Connor is here. He's the attorney who's representing James in his custody battle. Matt, this would be something that is constructive, and hopefully something could be resolved on the criminal side of this as well, true?
Not while Doug Perry's involved, because everything's about Doug. Is a typical megalomaniac.
We've never met before, have we?
We've never met, sir, and you've made many quotes about the ministry and other things. You've never been to our ministry. You've never been to one of our fellowship meetings.
Let me speak to him for a minute. If you want to yell at him in a minute, I'll give you time.
Because
okay, go ahead.
It's important because they keep throwing up these things that are inaccurate. They talk about the parental kidnapping. Those charges were dismissed.
I said in my personal opinion, and there's a reason I said that, because I understand legally the charges have been dismissed, but it is still my personal opinion that he kidnapped my children.
Well, a judge ruled there wasn't even probable cause, and as Dr. Phil, as you know from your consulting days, that's a very low standard, and the judge found that Mr. Todd had good cause to remove the children from the home. So we were handcuffed.
No, he did not find that he had good cause to remove the children, because that would have required a trial and that would have been a verdict by the judge.
What everybody's not talking about, we're talking about that gentleman who doesn't really need to be here. What we need to be talking about is what's best for the kids. We're talking about children who are living in the equivalent of a homeless shelter.
Sir, I'm really not impressed by your silver tongue and your little hotshot credentials. I know that you're there to intimidate me.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, is her son a deadbeat dad?
Chase gives this much child support.
You think you've gotten a bad deal from your mother?
I do. She spent $10,000 on herself. She could be helping me.
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by...
It's not just lemonade. It's Martinelli's lemonade with a twist. Sparkling classic, mango, watermelon, prickly passion, and more. Martinelli's since 1868.
Break a leg. I used to love hearing that phrase, but not since I learned I have postmenopausal osteoporosis and a high risk for fracture. I want to keep active, but a broken bone could change that. So my doctor and I chose Prolia to reduce my risk of fractures. Prolia is proven to help make bones stronger. I take Prolia. It's different. It's 2 shots a year.
Do not take Prolia if you are pregnant, are allergic to it, or if you take Exgeva. Prolia can cause serious side effects, including low blood calcium levels, serious infections, some of which may require hospitalization, and skin inflammation, rash, and eczema. Tell your doctor if you develop dental problems, as severe jawbone problems may happen, or if you develop new or unusual pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred.
What's out there matters to me. So does what's in here.
Break a leg.
Ask your doctor if Prolia is right for you.
It's summer. That means it's time to head to the lake, fire up the barbecue, and switch your number to Sprint. This summer, when you switch, you can save $100 on any phone, which makes the new Samsung Galaxy S4 just $149.99. Make the most of your new phone on your hometown unlimited 4G LTE network with truly unlimited data. Or ask about our other options, including no contract plans. Now's the time to switch to Sprint. Visit your Kansas City Sprint store or Sprint.com today.
Sometimes all it takes is a little push from Slim for Life to find the slim in you.
Slim for Life gave me the push I needed to become the slim person I was meant to be. I lost 68 pounds and 8 dress sizes.
It works. It's quick and it's guaranteed. Results start when you do. Lose up to 10 pounds the first week.
Lose up to 30 pounds in 4 weeks, just $199, and includes product. Call 816-730-SLIM.
What we need to be talking about is what's best for the kids. Yes. Nobody's even mentioned that. You're talking about kids who are living in the...
I have absolutely mentioned what's best for the children, including that I'd like for them to have a relationship with their father.
Hold on. I really do want to talk to him, and you're seriously... I'm going to do it. You cannot filibuster. I am going to talk to him.
I'm sorry.
She's not a robot. Let me just point out.
I'm not a robot.
All right, go ahead.
We're talking about children who are living in the equivalent of a homeless shelter right now. And up until we were able to address the criminal charges and the court ruled and those were dismissed, there wasn't a lot we could do, and James alluded to that. Now that we have that done, we're doing what any lawyer and any father, as James would do, is try to get the kids out of that environment.
Well, here's a list of the dangerous situations that James says that he has witnessed. A photo member currently residing in the compound stabbed another member 5 times.
He didn't witness that.
That was years before.
Members are known to participate in wife swapping.
That's his personal opinion.
Jennifer's spiritual husband
He's not my
owns
spiritual
assault
husband.
rifles and boasts about carrying a gun at all times.
He does own a rifle and a handgun,
Jennifer admits to having Oklahoma bombing suspect Greg Weiler around her children.
I said he lived in the townhouse complex. I didn't
Children have allegedly exhibited strange behavior, including inappropriate touching.
That's just
Children are allegedly at risk of physical and mental harm. Children have allegedly been verbally abused by members.
I would love to hear specific examples.
Jennifer allows people from compound to sleep in her home without regard for safety of the children. Those are the things that he says he is concerned about.
Sir, I'm really not impressed by your silver tongue and your little hotshot credentials. I know that you're there to intimidate me, and that I really sincerely believe you don't have his best interest at heart. You're here to make a name for yourself, and that
I think the facts
I think you're going to answer for someday to the Lord, because if you had his best interest in heart, you would be trying to talk some sense into this man that the charges that he's making are ludicrous.
Are you concerned about what they're exposed to?
No, I'm not concerned about what they're exposed to. I believe that I need to be diligent as a parent, period, regardless of where I live.
For the record, with all of this mess going on, I am still willing to reconcile with my wife taking on the responsibility of even a new baby that's not even mine, because I recognize that my wife right now is not in a sound mind.
I think you know me well enough that I am stubborn and hard-headed, and I tend to not listen to anyone tell me what to do. The only one that has been able to get me under submission is the Lord.
Next, we're going to talk about something else. The family of a young man currently incarcerated for plotting a criminal act they believe was inspired by Doug Perry's teachings. We'll be right back.
It's simple physics. A body at rest tends to stay at rest, while a body in motion tends to stay in motion. Staying active can actually ease arthritis symptoms, but if you have arthritis, staying active can be difficult. Prescription Celebrex can help relieve arthritis pain so your body can stay in motion, because just one 200 milligram Celebrex a day can provide 24-hour relief for many with arthritis pain and inflammation. Plus, in clinical studies, Celebrex is proven to improve daily physical function, so moving is easier. Celebrex can be taken with or without food, and it's not a narcotic. You and your doctor should balance the benefits with the risks. All prescription NSAIDs like Celebrex, ibuprofen, naproxen, and meloxicam have the same cardiovascular warning. They all may increase the chance of heart attack or stroke, which can lead to death. This chance increases if you have heart disease or risk factors such as high blood pressure, or when NSAIDs are taken for long periods. NSAIDs like Celebrex increase the chance of serious skin or allergic reactions or stomach and intestine problems such as bleeding and ulcers, which can occur without warning and may cause death. Patients also taking aspirin and the elderly are at increased risk for stomach bleeding and ulcers. Don't take Celebrex if you have bleeding in the stomach or intestine, or had an asthma attack, hives, other allergies to aspirin, NSAIDs, or sulfonamides. Get help right away if you have swelling of the face or throat or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor your medical history and find an arthritis treatment for you. Visit Celebrex.com and ask your doctor about Celebrex for a body in motion.
You know that one about the dog eating the student's homework? We get that a lot here. Put your passion for food to work for you with an education in the culinary arts or management. Call or visit lecoleculinaire.com. Tonight's homework? Green beans. Put your passion for food to work for you with an education in the culinary arts or management. Call or visit lecoleculinaire.com.
We want you to save even more.
G Rewards at Gordman's.
Shop. Earn.
Redeem.
That's on top of our everyday big savings. G Rewards at Gordman's.
Doug Perry is a cyber preacher who has over 900 cyber sermon videos on YouTube. He claims his ministry is all about good works, but there was a criminal plot that made headlines that the family of the individual attribute to him. Now, what they're talking about is Doug made some comments in one of his cyber sermons. Now, clearly, I looked at this, and clearly it was an analogy. It was not something you were assigning or advocating. It was an analogy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's take a look at the news piece first, then we'll look at the analogy. Take a look.
Greg Weiler is an example of one of my worst fears come true.
Police say they have arrested a man who had detailed plans to burn down every church up in Miami. Gregory Weiler II is being held without bond tonight, accused of violating Oklahoma's anti-terrorism laws.
Police say they recovered a hand-drawn map from Weiler's motel room with the locations of all 48 Miami churches. Investigators say he also had enough explosives to carry out his plan, and a detailed journal with plans to, quote, remove church buildings from the U.S. a tiny bit at a time.
He had materials to make 50 Molotov cocktails and plans to blow up 48 churches. Okay, so this is an individual who I saw deteriorate. He's getting drunk in the basement in Doug's house, and next thing I hear is he's been arrested.
Let me be real clear. Nobody's a member of FOTM. Greg was not a member of anything. He stayed at our homeless shelter, and we loved him. Nobody funded his trip. I believe that the whole idea was demonically inspired. It has been used as ammunition against us. It's certainly doing harm to his life, but otherwise, nobody was really hurt.
I believe that FOTM has a very high potential of doing something very drastic. This gives them a very high probability of being like the next Jim Jones or the next David Koresh or the next Heaven's Gate, of having something crazy happening because of the bizarre rituals and the bizarre beliefs that they hold.
Well, Gregory Weiler's family declined appearing on the show because they claim they're fearful of Doug Perry, but they sent a videotape message. Here it is.
Due to our safety, we have decided not to be on the show in person. Doug says that something needs to be done, and something that's probably going to cost a lot of people their lives.
Doug compares an analogy of aircraft carriers to churches. He suggests bombing an aircraft carrier would quickly change its course, which would tend to make us believe he's referring to the bombing of churches. To a vulnerable, mentally ill Greg, this could come off as a chance for him to prove himself as a follower of Doug's teachings. In a person of Greg's state of mind, he could easily take this literally.
We don't want anyone ever to have to go through all the hurt and worry and stresses that we and other families have gone through.
Rick Ross is the founder and executive director of the Rick A. Ross Institute and an expert on cults, controversial groups, and movements. He says he's very familiar with Doug Perry and the Fellowship of the Martyrs. What do you think's going on here?
I really question what's going on at FOTM. I question the kind of influence that is existing there. And quite frankly, at times in the way in which you come across, you're not taking responsibility. And this young woman, Jennifer, seems to be here, and you're the puppet master, Doug.
He's my puppet master? You're seriously going to sit there watching me on stage thinking he's my puppet master?
Yes, that's the way that you've been handling yourself, in the way you berated the attorney, in the way that you talk over people.
Trust me, I've been waiting to do
Doug,
that.
you kind of sit back there content to
I have not even discussed with Doug Perry my opinions as a lawyer here. He had nothing to do with that. And I can tell you, I personally disagreed with him numerous times.
To come visit any time and talk to people. They do not believe that whatever
I don't need to smoke to know that smoking is not a good idea. I don't need to go to FOTM to find out that FOTM's a bad idea. And you need to take responsibility for the people's lives that you have harmed. Jennifer, is Doug ever wrong?
I've disagreed with him more than once, sir.
Can you name 3 times that Doug has been wrong?
I can name bunches.
Name something besides maybe his clothing style or his grooming. Can you name anything of substance where you would say Doug is wrong?
There are some doctrinal things that I disagree with Doug.
Pardon?
There are some doctronal things that I disagree with Doug.
There's nobody there that agrees with me on everything, and I don't need them to.
He's not asking you. What are they? Can she speak for herself?
Oh, I can speak for myself. Y'all are ridiculous.
I've been wrong tons of times.
Name 3.
I don't owe you anything.
Name 3, Doug.
You're the enemy. You understand?
Okay, I'm the enemy. You have spiritual X-ray vision. I know you're an apostle. No one can disagree with Doug. And if you thought, but that's not being a cult leader.
You need to come and talk to people that live there.
No, but when you characterize Doug, everybody
that has a response to you must be a cult leader.
Doug, if you characterize everybody and everything that Doug.
Can you be any more patronizing and condescending, Rick?
Can you be ever wrong?
You don't know me at all,
Doug,
Rick.
Do you ever take responsibility for anything you
Absolutely.
do?
Absolutely.
What?
I don't owe you anything, Rick.
All right, Doug.
You are here.
And who is patronizing?
You,
Who
Rick.
is patronizing,
You are,
Doug?
Rick.
Let me ask you something. Do you believe that people have mental illness other than being possessed, other than having a disconnect from God?
Absolutely.
And so there are people that come that in fact need treatment, maybe need medication, maybe need guidance away from you towards traditional treatment.
Absolutely.
And would this young man have been one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't.
And this young man, you said he's an adult and he made up his own mind. But the fact is, if he's incapacitated, then he is not capable of giving informed consent.
Well, there's a whole lot of gray area between adult and incapacitated. There's a whole lot of space in there for other people to misdiagnose too, make bad decisions, over-medicate people.
Well, the fact is that you may not be qualified to make that decision.
No, all I can do is love him. And if he shows up on my doorstep, I'm going to love him. I'm going to let the parents know that he's there. I'm going to let the parents know that he's safe. I coordinated with him, talked to the phone with him a lot of times.
But he's not safe if what he needs is treatment and he's with you instead. That's the point. You said there were two things you wanted people to know about this ministry. What were they?
We're doing a lot of good stuff. There are 3,000 people a month getting fed through our food pantry, 1 million pounds of food. There are people that would be dead under bridges, frozen to death if we hadn't taken them in. We're trying to do something different than chandeliers and new gymnasiums and cathedrals and try to live out what Jesus said to do to care for the least of these.
We're going to take a break, and when you come back, I'm going to tell you the one thing you've said that I found the most offensive and most outrageous thing you've said that I simply cannot get past. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by...
With 24 burgers, it's more than a menu. It's a bucket list. 24 burgers, a million reasons.
Red Robin. Yum.
I need ID, ladies.
ID hazelnut, okay? Rich and roasty and ready to strike. Much like those pythons you got there.
Now in there, girl. Little friend, too.
Dude, I need your help fast.
Well, Clearasol's fast.
Yeah, but is it...
Clearasol Ultra starts working instantly for visibly clearer skin in as little as 12 hours.
Yeah, it's fast.
Clearasol.
What you got there, Duke? Jay and Duke talking action figures. My idea.
Love it. Let's see what I say.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Bush's country-style baked beans are slow-cooked according to our secret family recipe with specially cured bacon and extra brown sugar for a thicker sauce and richer taste.
The secret family recipe starts with beans and bacon.
Batteries not included.
Aw, you're no fun.
Enjoy Bush's baked beans, still made from our secret family recipe.
The power of nature's fury.
I've never heard roar like that before.
Just took the gymnasium right down to the center of it.
The rescues, rebuilding, and the stories of survival. Live coverage from Moore, Oklahoma today at 5.
And 9 can help. Call with your tax-deductible donations for Oklahoma tornado relief.
Is your home a breeding ground for germs?
I cannot believe the things that you found germs on.
Common mistakes you're making.
It's something that I use every day.
The top germ hotspots revealed. Solutions to get rid of the germs fast. Today at 4 on KMBC.
The top brand furniture you want is at Furniture Deals. But did you know we also have the mattress brands you want like Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic at the lowest prices guaranteed. Only at Furniture Deals, where our name says it all.
The hottest, coolest times are at Schlitterbahn Kansas City Water Park. Share the fun with friends and family with record-breaking water adventures. Experience endless rivers, endless fun. Brave the whitewater rapids of King Kaw, the largest inner tube ride in the Midwest. Roar through a thrilling water coaster. Challenge the wave of the only surf ride in Kansas City. Or just kick back and relax. Plus, parking is free and picnics are welcome. Go to Schlitterbahn.com to get your tickets today. More than a water park, it's Schlitterbahn.
At Commerce Bank, we work behind the scenes so you can get more done in less time. Getting rid of those little hassles. Removing some of the obstacles. Like having to stuff and seal envelopes for ATM deposits. Just feed it a stack of bills or checks one at a time. The check's images will be printed right on the receipt. The smarter, faster ATMs at Commerce. Because we know you've got more important things to do.
Come on, little guy. You can't be sitting there. What are you doing out in the middle of nowhere?
Those who love salads love Ken's. Born in a great steakhouse.
Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil. Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
Well, we've been talking today about the Fellowship of the Martyrs. There's been a lot of talk about whether this is a cult or whether it's not. I'll let you make up your own mind about that. You know, I believe in freedom of religion. I believe in freedom of speech. And, you know, the internet is an interesting phenomenon, don't you think? It gives everybody that's got a computer and a camera a platform where they can get up and talk about anything that they want to talk about. Now, earlier I played several excerpts of Doug's sermons for him to comment on and react to. There's one other that, frankly, is just offensive to my sensibilities.
Last night, I went out and prayed that God would kill everybody on the planet.
That's just stupid.
You want some context for that?
No, I don't care what the context is. What I care about is, you know, and you know, you apparently think it's funny, but you know what I hear, you know, in the absence of real leadership, there are certain people in this world that'll follow anybody, and that's dangerous. But what I just heard is some guy with a camera. It's interesting because this morning I prayed that God would watch over you, and specifically you.
I prayed for you too.
And I prayed that God would watch over everybody that's up there in Liberty, Missouri. And then you get on the internet and pray about that.
That they would die to
and
their
that's just
flesh.
Stupid.
Not that
that's
their
reckless.
heart would stop beating. Not that they would blow up.
It's just a way to draw attention to yourself. And you ought not do that.
That is so out of context.
You just ought not do that. You just ought not do that.
I'm sorry if you're offended, but you're offended about a half of a sentence taken out of context.
Yeah, I'm offended by the way you're using this platform to draw attention to yourself. If you want to go do good works, go do them. But don't use this to draw attention to yourself and, in so doing, misguide people that are vulnerable. And then they go off in a direction that you're just not around to clean up the mess.
I get emails every day from people that are closer to God.
I want to thank all of my guests for being here today. Special thanks to cult expert Rick Ross. Thanks for being here. So long.
It's almost 4 o'clock, and here's a quick update on what you need to know right now. Crews are frantically searching for more survivors in the rubble of Moore, Oklahoma.